Hello, I'm Rob Chapman and welcome to Andertons.co.uk, the home of wondrous sounds.
Yes. Welcome to another edition of Canoeing Weekly, where this week we are comparing the new Spirit Pro Extreme paddle from Steinberger. Yeah, you'll notice it glides through the water with exceptional ease. Well, are these the original Headless guitars, Rob?
I'm going to say yes, they are.
I want to say they are too, although I've not done any form of substantial research on that front.
I think we are the authority on things now, so we could just make stuff up.
But I'll be honest with you, I've seen a growing trend in the last 2 or 3 years in brands like Steinberger and Ormsby and Kiesel and stuff like that doing headless guitars. And whilst it's never really been my thing, it did strike me earlier this year when I saw these guitars at the NAMM show that it's not really new at all.
No.
And actually, if sort of headless is your thing and you want to have a try without having to splurge the kind of cash that you would on a Steinberger or an Ormsby or whatever like that, then the original Steinberger Spirit, I don't think this was called a Spirit in the old days, it may have been, is a super affordable way to see if the headless thing is your bag or not. Or alternatively, welcome to Cooking Weekly, and if you want to flip your pancakes, what you do is you pop them on here and you flip it like that, woo, and it's all in the wrist action, like that.
And you know what? One size fits all. Because with the Steinberger, not only do you get one strap button, but you get two strap buttons.
Two strap buttons.
And not only do you get one tremolo hole, but you get two tremolo holes.
So you can be Stevie.
So you can just immediately flip it and be lefty.
Or you can be Stevie or Jimmy and play with the trem system up here.
Yes, let's do that.
Anyway, look. So I was reading Ned Steinberger, pioneer of guitar building, started his Steinberger guitar brand back in the late 70s. Originally,
is it Steinberger or Steinberg?
Steinberger. Steinberger is the software. Ned Steinberger is the guitar guy. Originally, these were even more contemporary than they are now in that they were built of carbon fibre. The bass came first, so you may have seen the bass. But there's a lot of proprietary stuff on here. So not only is the headless thing, I think, a Ned Steinberger design, obviously the body shape is super small. The trem system is again designed in Steinberger system. And from what I can understand, the driving reason behind doing this in the early days was weight.
Right.
It was just like, how much weight can we cut out of the guitar? Weight and balance, basically.
It is interesting because you look at it and you go, it's headless. I look at it predominantly and go, it's almost bodiless. Because there's nothing here.
It's soulless.
It's not really. There's not a lot left to resonate. I mean, if you look at the size of it, look at it. It's just...
So, anyway, in the 80s, and I'm not sure whether or not the business went bust or whatever, but Gibson acquired it. And as you probably know, over the last...
I did not know that.
Really. So over the last 30 years, Gibson acquired so many different musical instrument brands and or sort of general music brands. Valley Arts, Kramer, as you guys probably know. Anyway, lots and lots. Some of which they've done something with and some of which they haven't. And the Steinberger one, they've always done a bit with. But I got the general impression that as part of the new Gibson ownership, JC and Cesar and all those cool dudes there, they've got a couple of those brands that they're going, you know what, I think there's legs in Kramer and Steinberger. So I think you're going to see...
Little tiny ones.
Yeah, little tiny legs. Not very big legs. I think you're going to see sort of them doing maybe a bit more with this. So the XT Pro, which I believe are the three that we've got here. So these are all the same guitar. You've got one with a quilt top, one with this yin-yang finished metallic blue, but they're all basically the same guitar. So they're a Basswood body.
I just...
What?
Why would you put a quilt top where there's hardly any top?
These are environmentally conscious guitars. You can make 4 guitars out of what you'd normally make 1 guitar out with this.
You're absolutely right.
So let's look at tones. So we've got these Steinberger pickups in them. They're passive pickups. I mean, it sounds like a guitar. They're pretty, they're not pokey pickups, you know, they're sort of... The trem system is, I don't quite, a mix, genius, bizarre, I'm not sure. So this control at the back here, it might need a super zoom up, which you'd be forgiven of thinking it's another strap button, but it's not. This control here adjusts the tension of the springs on the trem system. So you can, without having to get inside and adjust the claw like you would on the back of a regular guitar, you just tighten or loosen that.
It's clever. Ibanez do a similar thing, don't they?
Yes.
On some of their guitars.
Yeah, where but you have the recessed thing you roll. Like
yeah.
That. You've got this very mechanical kind of claw here, which is, if you like, a trem lock system. So you can just wedge this in. It will stop the trem coming backwards. And then you've got the 6 very high gear ratios. I think they're 40-to-1 ratio tuners. So, you know, relatively small movements make a difference to the tension on the string.
Lee, that claw actually prevents it from going forwards or backwards.
Oh, does it?
So
it's a hard
it locks
tail
it in
thing.
and
Clever.
hardtails it. Yeah.
And of course, what you're doing by adjusting these is pulling the string sort of backwards and forwards over the saddle, hence tuning, or tuning up or tuning down. Volume and tone, as Rob said, it's quite sort of clever in that left-handed players, I mean, obviously the knobs will end up being in the wrong place, but you can literally do that, put the trem arm, I mean, I know again, the trem arm's now the wrong way up, but it's not that difficult. And we were looking at the nut earlier on, trying to decide, that the nut doesn't appear to be a different width for the, or am I going blind?
Well, it's a 0 fret. So that there is no nut. It's a 0
completely
fret.
right. Yes,
yeah.
well, I'm misusing the words. The slots, if you like, that the ball ends have to go in, it would appear to be restringable either way round.
You could put any gauge of string pretty much through that. It doesn't make a difference. It's done away with the nut.
The lever on the side here, so that you can sit down and practice, or of course play standing up. So unlike some of those brands that I mentioned at the top of this video, where you'd be into spending thousands of pounds to get a headless guitar, these are all around about the 350 mark. So kind of like travel guitar.
Yeah,
Because this comes with it.
Yeah. Looks like you're going to go play snooker.
It's the whole thing is about 30 inches long, and it is a 25.5-inch scale length. So it's exactly the same scale length as a Strat.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. I tell you what, you are going to be amazed at, Rob.
Don't tell me you own one of these.
No, I don't own one of these.
Okay.
I was Wikipediaing,
looking up
Steinberger earlier on, and get this, on the Wikipedia page, it's got notable users of these guitars. Do you want some names?
Listen, I have to say, when it says notable users, the problem there is that you can literally
once.
go, quick, get a photograph!
Yeah.
And then it could be anybody. I'm not saying for a second that they're lying. I'm just saying a notable user is not somebody who necessarily endorses them.
All right, well, I'm going to read out,
read them out anyway.
A disclaimer here. This is straight off Wikipedia. Mark Knopfler, Eddie Van Halen, David Bowie and Reeves Gabrel, Lou Reed, David Gilmour, apologies, Greg Lake, Don Felder, Alan Holdsworth. I can kind of probably see Alan Holdsworth. Mike Rutherford, I can see Mike Rutherford using them as well. Johnny Winter, cannot see him. And that's just the guitar players. If you look down the bass players as well, you Geddy Lee, Sting, Bill Wyman. I mean, it's kind of, there is a, for me when I see these, I remember the 2 bands in the 80s that played these. I 100% remember Tin Machine playing them. I don't remember them. And probably Tin Machine probably even played the black and white one.
Yeah.
And Aswad. Like the reggae.
Right.
I just remember a reggae band playing, and I think the bass player had one and the guitar player had one as well.
Right. I'm going to be controversial now.
No, be controversial.
And say that I don't really like them. Let me qualify by saying I like areas of design.
Yes.
But it's not a thing that resonates with me. I mean, anyone watching this who knows me will know that. I think this is a really cool idea for a tremolo where you can adjust it, you can lock it, but the tuners are really awkward and very close together, and I find that annoying. The headless thing, you know what I said to Lee, that's the fastest truss adjustment you've ever made in your life.
Yeah. And
what a simple way of stringing it. I hate myself for saying it, but I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what it is. I mean, it's just I don't like that there's no headstock.
I mean, I'm not a big fan visually of the headstock thing, and every guitar player... Sorry, I mean, as in, I'm not a big fan of it not having a headstock. Every guitar player that I know that's using, say, a Steinberger or something, takes a very... what's the right word for... Oh, look, Pete's just sent me Eddie Van Halen using... Look at that. There you are. There is a picture of Eddie Van Halen using... He's even done it in the stripy
Wait, that's
finish.
not Eddie. That's
absolutely Eddie Van Halen. Is that a Photoshop of just some... out of Van Halen. Anyway, look, we'll put that as part of this video if we can remember. What was I saying? So all the Steinberger guys are going over... they're not buying guitars for their aesthetic. They're buying the guitar entirely for its ergonomic performance.
No, I understand. What I was going to say is I like certain areas of the design. I mean, the flip-up leg thing, genius, but it just looks stupid to me. But so then I get this conflicted thing where I go, okay, it's really small, it's really light, you could travel with it. That's quite a clever design. This is an interesting design. Yeah. That obviously works. It sounds great, you know. I mean, I can... When I'm playing it, if I don't look at it, I like it. But when I look down, it's not what I associate with.
What is the? I
feel like I'm trying to defend myself here.
No, don't defend yourself.
But
what's the condition called where you have like an arm amputated, but you can still feel it's there?
It's called Phantom Limb. It's one of the best tunes by Alice in Chains.
That's what I want to tune it, but there's nothing here to tune it.
But interestingly, I said this to you earlier. You know. One of the only areas of guitar design that you can use as part of your visual branded signature in law is the headstock shape.
I agree. So what are you going to do?
If there's no headstock shape, anyone can copy this.
It's free run, isn't it?
I could literally make this guitar, but
the tremolo system. Here. The tremolo system is obviously trademarked.
I just use
put hardtail.
I just use something that looks like it. I'd use one of those things that keeps Evertune. Put an Evertune there, get rid of that, and I could make it, and they could do nothing because there's no headstock.
Well, who knows? Gibson's lawyers may well disagree.
They definitely would disagree.
Yeah.
I'll do a bowling for you. I'll do bowling. Okay,
ready? So, look, there's several different colours on this. As I said, there's bases as well.
But wait.
Go on.
I just gave my 10 pence.
Yeah.
You didn't give your 5 pence.
Well, I think, as most people know who follow this channel, I am 95% swayed to love a guitar entirely visually. What
if it was relict?
Yeah, if it was relict, and I could literally just wedge this on the end to make it look slightly more... No, I don't...
You know what, though? They got that right. Because look, I can't put anything there. That just falls off.
There's a tiny weeny bit of me that says...
This is so practical from a travel perspective.
Yeah.
That I might overcome myself and literally just buy it for that reason.
I have a question for you. Have you ever seen the beautifully, really well-made, custom shop, 3/4 scale LP type guitars by ESP?
No.
The ESP custom shop make these beautiful this length Les Pauls, basically.
But I'd never spend like $3,000 on a travel guitar. You know,
Oh, you wouldn't?
No. Well, I'm not sure.
I want the blue one.
Yeah, I mean,
Pete loves them.
Pete is so into this. I'm not really sure.
Couldn't you just buy a Baja telly and unscrew the neck, put it in a soft case, and then take it on holiday?
What, and saw the headstock off? And no, I don't. Look, man. Yeah, but who wants to do that?
I'm being DeVille's advocate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put this out there that I don't like headless guitars, but if you do, and you want something that's way more affordable than some of those other names that we mentioned, you really have to check these out, because it is, I think, the original headless guitar. I kind of like the black and white finish, although, again, there are lots of other finishes.
I think the original headless guitar was the one that Jimmy made at Woodstock.
Yeah, or Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a headless guitar. It just doesn't work anymore.
Easier to wield as a weapon.
It definitely is.
Hello, I am the Steinberger at 2000. I feel like I've not done justice to this review. It's not really a review. This has just really been me saying how I feel about something.
But that is a review as opposed to a demonstration.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So actually you have reviewed it and you have done it justice.
I'm ready for the trolls to say, Rob, you're wrong. These are great guitars and you've done us a disservice.
Yeah. Because we're not criticising the build quality or its functional
plays good, sounds
aspect
good.
as a guitar. We
Totally.
are simply just going... But that is exactly what it is.
We made a video where we said we didn't like something.
It is full Marmite, isn't it, this?
Yeah.
You're either going to see that and go, that's cool. I've got to be honest with you. Again, Pete sent me another picture of Eddie Van Halen playing it. And
does it look cool when Eddie Van Halen plays it?
No, not really. What do you think? Do you think he looks cooler with?
No, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't look cool, does it? So I don't know. Let's find a
you know what
picture
I do like,
of a
though,
player.
I do like Marmite.
Who? No, I'm just looking for like a player that plays like a Steinberger. Let's see if anybody. Does anyone look cool playing a headless guitar? Sting looks cool all the time. Right, Google headless guitar player. Alan Holdsworth. Doesn't look cool, does he, playing that guitar?
He's not going to get laid like that.
Tosin Abassi, does he look cool?
He
playing
always
that
looks
guitar?
cool, but that's his own design.
Yeah,
the body.
it's
At least
the
it
body
has a
shape.
body. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pete sent me another picture. Does that look cool? I don't really want. So there we are. You comment below. Do we look cool playing these? Yeah. I mean, do we just look? We don't look cool, regardless, do we? But
hey, man.
That didn't take long to do. You know what? They are perfectly functional guitars that we just don't like the look of. The end.
3, 2, 1. Oh my god, it's really hard! It's really hard!
Steinberger, yeah.